Friends, all of you all are probably aware that during the budget we had mentioned that we will be setting up a national bank which will fund infrastructure and also any developmental activity. You are all aware that there have been at least 3 or 4 attempts in India earlier to have alternative investment funds. One was, of course, you knew, IDBI, and several such attempts had earlier been taken up. But gradually, because they either changed their nature of business or for different reasons, we ended up with no bank which could take the long-term risk and fund development, because the risk is very high here. So even from July budget of 2019, we had made this announcement that government will be looking at having a national infrastructure pipeline and look at sovereign funds and others who can fund us. I had announced 111 lakh crore for a pipeline which had more than 6,000 at that time in December 2019, more than 6,000 such greenfield and brownfield projects which needed to be funded. So we have acknowledged that both development and financial objectives will matter for setting up a DFI, and therefore, whilst we mentioned it in the budget, but even as the budget session is still on, the cabinet is already cleared the setting up of a development finance institution. And here I wish to thank the Honorable Prime Minister, who constantly has kept the gentle nudge on us to say, you mentioned it in the budget, and how many of the budget's steps are going to be in time implemented so that the stimulus gains momentum and sustains that gained momentum, and therefore you have to get going with the decisions which have all been announced in the budget. And that is why I take 1 extra minute to tell you that I'm happy today the cabinet has cleared this bill through which we will have an institution, an institutional arrangement which will help in raising long-term funds. The budget provides for the initial amount. I had announced it in the budget saying capital infusion from our side would be about 20,000 crores, and initial grant of 5,000 will also be made, and this year itself capital infusion is 20,000 crores. Additional increments of the grant will also be made within the 5,000 limit that has been given to the finance minister. And through this, we expect to raise considerable amount using this lever from the market, and I'll get into the details when the questions come from you. So today, the cabinet has taken a decision to set up a development finance institution. I can get into the details as and when you ask me the question. Thank you.
We will now take questions. The Honorable Ministers will now take questions based on cabinet decisions only. Number 10.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon. Ma'am, just wanted to understand that the cabinet note also comes in terms of the DFI bill, which you had spoken about in your budget speech. And as you rightly mentioned, the mechanism for raising funds from the market, you would like to answer that as and how we ask. So it will be great if you could elaborate on that, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Sure. You can take one more question. So
Number 9.
What kind of, Shishir here from Hindu Business Line, what kind of fund you are expecting to leverage from the 25,000 crore which you are putting in that DFI?
I have the Secretary, Department of Financial Services with me, but with the initial 20,000 crore which is being initially proposed as a capital infusion, I expect the institution to use it as a lever to raise up to 3 lakh crores in the next few years, because it can access through the market funds which are otherwise not available. Also, this institution will have certain tax benefits which are being given to it, tax benefits which are being given for a 10-year long period. And through that, we also, there is not just a tax exemption, but also the Indian Stamp Act is also being given a bit of an amendment. Through all this, we expect even big pension funds, sovereign funds will all come, just as we are able to attract them in the National Infrastructure Investment Fund. This will also draw on those, and also the government is planning to give it certain securities for which the cost of funds will also come down. Even that is being extended. So through these sources, the Development Finance Institution will be able to leverage the initial capital which it has in its hand, and be able to draw funds from various different sources and be able to reach out for funding long-term projects. Also, because of this, I think there will be a positive impact on the bond market in India.
104.
से एनबीसी आवाज से ये जहां तक मैं समझ पा रहा हूं, इस बैंक का निर्माण जो है आईएफसीएल की जगह किया जा रहा है, तो आईएफसीएल से कैसे अलग होगा? और पेंशन और इंश्योरेंस फंड जैसे को क्या कुछ मैंडेटरी होगा अपने फंड का एक तय हिस्सा इसमें डालने के लिए?
इतना हिंदी आप करो जी।
अभी ये जो नया संस्था की संरचना की जा रही है, उसमें बिल्कुल ये क्लीन स्लेट से शुरू करने वाला है। और एक बार जब इनकी बोर्ड तैयार होकर प्रस्तुत हो जाएगी, बोर्ड का डिसीजन है आगे वो किससे मर्जर कर रहे हैं या एक्वायर कर रहे हैं, तो वो निर्णय वो बोर्ड लेगी। तो इसमें जैसे माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी ने कहा 20,000 करोड़ का इनिशियल कैपिटल है, उसको लेवरेज किया जाएगा, मार्केट से फंड उठाएंगे, फिर और बहुत सारे स्रोत हैं जैसे इंश्योरेंस, पेंशन फंड्स वगैरह। इंश्योरेंस, पेंशन फंड्स आज भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, लेकिन जब सरकार की एक संस्था बैक्ड बाय ए लेजिस्लेशन जब आता है, तो उनको और पैसा डालने में उनको और भरोसा और विश्वास होता है। तो हमें उम्मीद है कि रेगुलेटर्स उसको भी जो मात्रा है उसको बढ़ाएंगे। और ये प्रोजेक्ट ऐसा, ये बैंक ऐसा है कि जो लॉन्ग टर्म पेशेंट कैपिटल की तरफ देखता है, और पेंशन और इंश्योरेंस फंड टिपिकली लॉन्ग टर्म पेशेंट कैपिटल होते हैं। तो ये इसकी व्यवस्था इस प्रकार से चलेगी। दूसरा प्रश्न क्या, मैं भूल गया आपने? हाँ, मैं वही बताया आपको, इंश्योरेंस फंड, पेंशन फंड।
हाँ, आईएफसीएल की जगह ये लेगा या फिर अभी ये तय नहीं है? आईएफसीएल से कैसे अलग होगा? आईएफसीएल भी मोर और लेस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंडिंग के लिए।
स्टेट से स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, मैंने यही बताया ना, आईएफसीएल का निर्णय जब ये संस्था तैयार होके खड़ी हो जाएगी, इनकी बोर्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूट हो जाएगा, वो इस पर निर्णय लेंगे। आईआईएफसीएल को लेना है, आईएफसीएल को लेना है, किसी को नहीं लेना है, अपने आप में करना है। हम लोग जो व्यवस्था दे रहे हैं, ये माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी का था कि बिल्कुल क्लीन संस्था दें,
क्लीन
और
स्लेट।
बाकी बाजार की कंडीशन और वो अगर देखते हैं उसमें उनको फायदा है, तो फिर वो अपना निर्णय लेंगे।
Number 15.
Ruchi Bhatia from ET now. I just wanted to understand how soon will the DFI be operationalized now that the cabinet has given an approval? Also, what will be the structure of the DFI in terms of how the board will be constituted? And have you identified which are the first few projects where the money will be kind of put in as from this DFI?
It will have a professional board, and at least 50% of them will be non-official directors. Persons of eminence are also envisaged to be on the board, and I would think the chairpersonship also will be of some eminent person derived, and also making sure there are good eminent people becoming non-official directors. So we are making sure that this organization will have people of such heft and professional standards. So on that ground itself, it should have enough, character for a development finance institution which will meet this century's requirement. The power of the board is also clearly going to be drawn in order that they can appoint and remove the WTDs, the whole-time directors. So we are looking at a complete professional setup. In fact, that is one of the features in which we have made sure that the emoluments being given will be so market-driven that you are able to attract best of talents. Even that has been thought out. We are also looking at higher age limit and a longer tenure for the MDs and DMDs. So with these professional human resource, I think this organization will be able to immediately and quickly rise to the expectation of the market.
Number 46.
Cabinet has given clearance, and you can see how soon we can do it from 1st of February. So that soon it will come out.
मैडम मैं मानस बनर्जी बोल रहा हूँ। मानस बनर्जी इधर मानस बनर्जी बोल रहा हूँ। अच्छा, इंदिरा गांधी जी ने 1969 में बैंक राष्ट्रीयकरण की थी इस सोच के जो ये बैंक जो प्राइवेट बैंक है वो सामाजिक दायित्व पालन नहीं कर रहा है, इसीलिए क्या था। उसके बाद जो राष्ट्रीयकरण हुआ, आज अभी आपका सरकार आप निजीकरण के दौड़ रहा है। ये सरकारी बैंक को क्या दायित्व सामाजिक दायित्व पालन नहीं कर रहा क्या, इसीलिए आप निजीकरण के लिए ज्यादा बिजी हो गया। राहुल गांधी जी ने बोला है आप लाभजनक संस्था को बेच रहा है, निजीकरण कर रहा है, जो नुकसान वाला इसको आपने राष्ट्रीयकरण कर रहा है। ये बात कैसे है, आज ही बोला है राहुल गांधी जी ने।
नहीं, आप प्रश्न क्या पूछना चाहते हैं?
क्वेश्चन क्या है, जो आप क्या सोचता है जी बैंक लॉस में जा रहा है, ये सामाजिक दायित्व पालन नहीं कर रहा सरकारी बैंक, इसीलिए आप निजीकरण कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, आप तो एक ओपिनियन बोल रहे हैं, प्रश्न क्या है?
ये तो क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूँ, आप निजीकरण क्यों कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, so have all of you all finished with your development finance institution का प्रश्न? If you have that, if you don't have any more question on today's cabinet decision, then I'll go to him. But if there is anything more on today's decision, I'll first address that and then go over to answering him. I will answer him,
okay,
but I'll do
Thank
that
you.
afterwards.
Okay.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Just one more, ma'am. Anything on the bill, ma'am, if you could share with us?
What is the bill?
The DFI bill, ma'am?
The cabinet has given approval. Now we'll go to the parliament.
Thank you.
इस कमिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर में कितने आपने कुछ आइडेंटिफाई किया है, कितने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स को इस डीएफआई से फंड मिलेगा, कुछ ऐसा आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया है?
नहीं, आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए हमारे पास एक पाइपलाइन है, जरूरी है ना। 6,000 का नाउ इट हैज गॉन अप टू अबाउट 7,000 आइटम्स। सो वो पाइपलाइन से जो भी उचित समझेंगे उनके प्रायोरिटी के अनुसार वो लेंगे, वो बोर्ड तय करेगा। Is that it? Okay. So your question, you asked me in Hindi, but I'm going to say it in English. Huh? Yeah, you may have to, please. I have no choice. I don't want to say it in Hindi and you struggle to understand me. Yes, Srimati Indira ji nationalized banks. There was a purpose, and that purpose probably was served, partly served, fully served. I'm not getting into that. Today we have quite a few number of banks, some performing very well, some performing probably just about all right, and they have a very big role to play, there is no doubt. But yet we need banks which are going to be able to scale up. So we have even announced, and recently, 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, in fact one before also during 2016-17, amalgamating banks so that you have banks big enough. Like I think I have even said before, we need banks of the size of State Bank of India in this country, many more of them. So we have brought in banks which are going to be able to meet the aspirational needs of this country. And also, because these need not be a subjective on-the-spot decision, we've announced a public enterprise policy, based on which we have identified those 4 areas in which we said government presence, public sector presence will be there, and bare minimum presence is what we have said. In that, financial institutions are also there, meaning even in financial sector we will still have the presence of public sector enterprise, which, for your immediate answer, means that not all of them are going to be privatized. First point. Second, even for those which are likely to be privatized, we are obviously going to have to keep in mind that these privatized institutions will also continue to function after the privatization. We'll also have to ensure that the staff or the personnel who are there, their every interest will be protected. So we will ensure that we are not going to be disinvesting, or we are not going to be selling them off because whatever may happen to them, we are not worried. No, we want financial institutions to get more equity, more people to put in money into them to make them sustainable. We also want their staff to be able to perform the duties which they have really acquired as a skill over the decades and run the banks. So, very quickly, if you kindly have a look at the public sector enterprise policy which we have come out with and identified those core sectors in which the presence of public sector enterprises will still continue, even financial sector is in it. So, to immediately, quickly conclude saying, oh, every bank is going to be sold off, is not right. And even whether it is banks or any other privatization, I want to take this opportunity to tell, through you, the media, that the interest of the workers, interest of those who have put in services over the decades will absolutely be protected. Whether it is their salaries, whether it is their scale, whether it is their pension, it will all be taken care of. And above all, the first premise that I would like to put before you is, even when we speak of privatization or disinvestment, we recognize that each one of those units perform for the economy. So if there is a coal unit or a thermal unit or a hydro unit or a steel unit, the intention is, if there are people who would run it, putting more money in them, we still need those power which it produces, still need the coal which comes out of it, still need the steel which comes out of it, still need the banks to reach out to the people. And for these units to function with more money coming in, with more specialization, with more modernization, we need to have some investment come from others. And purely, let us also understand, if, for instance, we want to sell it to retail buyers within India, it is our duty to ensure that the workers' interests are protected, that institution runs further, produces that which we are not able to put in more money to produce. So, first assumption is not to take that it is going to be closed, people are going to be removed. No, not at all. All these factors are being kept in mind. I want to assure you through the media that it is not a quick decision. We have applied a lot of mind, and also we are very conscious of the interest of the workers in very many of these institutions. So, I don't know if it answers your question. Yes. Thank you for raising that issue. No, thank you for raising that issue. And that is why I thought I should take this opportunity to give you an elaborate answer. But Your question by itself would have had my answer come in all its detail. Since you brought in Rahul Gandhi, who probably has outsourced his comments to, I don't know, very hardcore communists will give you, solid two-liners to say this is what is happening. Exploitation, profit loss. These pet kind of quotations or using two-liners does not help the situation. As a leader of the opposition party, a leader representing a very big party, I would want him to engage in serious discussions rather than throw these kind of two-liners every now and then. What did he say? Privatizing profits and nationalizing loss. ऐसे कुछ ना? Privatizing profits and nationalizing loss. ऐसे कुछ बोला ना? आप बोल रहे थे? ऐसे कुछ बोले ना? No, I have replied, but since you quoted, I thought I would double check with you if the quotation is right. नहीं, वो बात है ना, उनका यही कहना था ना, privatizing profit and nationalizing loss. प्रॉफिट लॉस के ऊपर आज अचानक कितने ध्यान दे रहे हैं, जबकि इन इस गवर्नमेंट ओवर द डिकेड्स I think what they have tried is only to privatize taxpayers' money. If I want to, in a light-hearted fashion, use the style of speaking which he has done, he accuses us of what? Privatizing profit. When in his government, they were privatizing taxpayers' money. You all know how. Privatizing taxpayers' money was what UPA government did. And probably even privatizing taxpayers' money for one family's betterment. So privatizing is only that. And second, nationalizing loss, did he say? Today public sector banks are loss making and prompt corrective actions are bringing them out because of the telephone banking which happened during his time. His dadi would have probably nationalized the banks. But nationalizing of loss in the banks was during UPA's time. And I would want to add one more. Nationalizing corruption is what they did. So nationalizing corruption and privatizing taxpayers' money for the betterment of one family is all that Rahul Gandhi will have to take as a reply for that tweet which probably some outsourced fellow in his team is feeding him with. I think there should be some more intense homework done by Rahul Gandhi before he even starts speaking and throwing these kind of things using a spit and run technique. Stand there. Be ready for a negotiation or be ready for a discussion. You raise your points, we'll also answer you. Not throw allegations and go away. Thank you.